also comes down to how endangered something is. People go, oh, I can eat cows because there's loads of them. There's not as many elephants, so I won't eat them. But if there was as much as everything, would people still discriminate against one animal more than another? And I think there's a lot of sizeism. But if I was just to stand on a line of ants by mistake, they wouldn't even go, oh, sorry. If somebody ran over a herd of 100 elephants, they'd go, oh my God, for the rest of my life, why didn't those little tiny things have as much right as the big thing? Pain is pain at the end of the day. You know, whether it's a person being tortured or a rabbit being skinned. Some people can go, well, that's a person, that's more important than that. But there's still that feeling pain. Yeah. Like, you can't justify that pain is okay for that creature because it's still relevant to that creature. And what if you came back as a rabbit? So it's that satisfying that gaping hole in our souls that humanity have. Everything you do, if you analyze everything, you could say everything is evil. Not genuine choice. I would say most people want it to be tradition, they like it to be tradition, but it turns out to be convenience. I suppose it depends how much money you've got, but people like to follow the footsteps of their family and feel cozy with brands and things like that. Are my choices aligned with compassion or convenience?
Yeah.
Compassion. Yep. Well, I say that, but I'm a bit of a hypocrite like everybody else because I like to think I've got certain values and, you know, it'd be nice to get ethical, you know, sort of organic food and things that animals would treat, food where animals had a better life, and things that are, you know, healthier, supporting local. But if you're really skint, it's like poverty is obese. Do you know what I mean?
Like, what you can get.
Like if you go to the vegan section or, you know, fake meat section in the supermarket, it'd be like £5 for like 2 burgers, where you can probably get about like 30 chicken nuggets for about £2 in other places. So I'd rather be one, but it depends on how much money I have. Yeah, I do think that, definitely, because everyone's happy to eat chickens and cows and sheep and pigs, but people would like, oh, I'd never eat an elephant, I'd never eat a horse, you know, save the whales. And I think, you know, like that, one side of it is animal discrimination over sort of, we're raised with mythological respect for certain things and other things aren't as intelligent. But it's, it also comes down to how endangered something is. People go, oh, I can eat cows because there's loads of them. There's not as many elephants, so I won't eat them. But if there was as much as everything, would people still discriminate against one animal more than another?
It's an interesting way of looking at it, yeah.
So, and I think there's a lot of sizeism. Like, for example, if I was just to stand on a line of ants by mistake, most people would just go, not even thinking, they wouldn't even go, oh, sorry, they just go, oh, shit.
Yeah.
If somebody ran over a herd of 100 elephants, they'd go, oh my God, for the rest of my life. Oh, I can't believe I've done that. And it's like, well, why didn't those little tiny things have as much right as the big thing?
Yeah.
Is it because it's small to ignore? Yeah. Or because, you know, there's more ants than there is elephants? So there's the whole sort of, the amount of animals and the ethics of how much you can afford. So people get confused, and a lot of people just give in and not care. And I was vegetarian for a time, I was vegan for a time. I try and eat less of it, but sometimes
Any particular reason?
It wasn't to do with, I didn't like potato, I love meat. Yeah. And I don't think killing animals necessarily is wrong, to a certain degree. I just think it's the way they're kept and killed, like that, the guilt of swallowing their misery. That just fighting animals like it. Well, I think there's that whole, not ignorance is bliss, but when you think the whole world, or the majority of people are eating this thing, as much as you care, and if you could press a button and stop it and change it all, you would. But when you can't, and you think most people are, there's that sort of, well, what does one extra person make a difference? Yeah. If I just go and buy some beef from Iceland over there, as much as I don't want to, but it's all I can afford. But everyone else is. If I didn't, would it stop it? But I know that that's ignorance is bliss, and that you have to follow what you believe. You know, the small changes that make a bigger difference, like the snowball effect in the long run. There's such a big pile of burning garbage, and you just try and take one piece of the garbage off.
Yeah.
And it's like it's still there.
So I understand that viewpoint, and not even just related to this topic, but it applies to anything. That if people didn't think, if everyone only ever said, no point me doing anything because everyone else is doing it a different way, nothing would ever change.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That one, always it takes is that one person, that one. Yeah, and that one effect can have the pyramid effect. You know, you inspire other people, and
applies to anything, but also this, but applies to anything.
Well, it depends if I'm seeing that farm animal being killed or not, because what people don't see, they don't worry about. So it's all like behind closed doors, and they just like, oh, it's in a nice little package. You know, like all the wives are happy for their husbands to go and kill the animal,
and it never looks like the animal when you're buying it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's I was going to say dehumanized, but it's de-animalized and dehumanizes you at the same time.
It's a good word.
But what was the question again?
How do you think it... So when you see an animal, so when you see a dog or cat in pain...
I always feel empathy for them, Well, I think pain is pain at the end of the day. You know, whether it's a person being tortured or or a rabbit being skinned. Some people can go, well, that's a person, that's more important than that. But there's still that feeling pain. Like, you can't justify that pain is okay for that creature because it's still relevant to that creature. And what if you came back as a rabbit, you know, or whatever? Because there's the whole system of, like you say, food being packaged and it's all separate and in the supermarket and it's just a massive industry. I do think that whenever I eat meat, I go on and off it because I do swallow it thinking, what life has this animal had? But the fact it's already dead, that means I think it's already there. But but then you're like buying into the industry to keep it going. That's why I don't understand when people go to places like McDonald's or all these places and they have a vegetarian option. It's like your money is still going to that company that killed billions of animals.
Okay.
It's a good question because as much as I call myself an animal lover and think I'm compassionate to animals, I still love a burger. And I suppose it is just... how is it? Stupid humans, I guess. Ignorance is bliss. I don't think, oh, it's just a cow or it's just this. They don't have compassionate lives. Because if you treated a cow or a pig like a dog, they would eventually they're just as intelligent. They would have the same traits and love you back. And you'd be able to read their faces and their body language. So I think, how does it affect me? Or
how does it impact your perception of eating them? When you're eating them?
Perception.
Like
the way it impacts my perception is guilt.
Guilt. Okay, that's a good answer.
Well, like when we were like years ago, before we had everything offered to us on a plate, apart from people that are in shitty countries, like food was more scarce when we were like hunter-gatherers, and so if you found something with lots of fat or sugar in it, your instinct would be, get it now, eat it, eat it, eat it. Your brain's saying eat it because you might not come across it again. And that part of our brain is still there, but we have it all there.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to learn to turn it off or change those neural pathways. I do like sugar, fat, salt, carb foods like everyone else, comfort food, stuff in your face, which is, you know, like if I'm drinking or taking drugs, that's filling one void in one hole. If you don't have drink and drugs, then sometimes I'll go to food instead. So it's that satisfying that gaping hole in our souls that humanity have.
Yeah.
I would try and fill with TV and consumerism and materialism and whatever. But everything in moderation, I think. And I love healthy food too, but I make a conscious effort sometimes to make myself eat healthier stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll still like it and enjoy it and love it, but that part of your brain isn't going, oh,
give me more.
Give me that. I really want that salad right now.
It is interesting.
It's just survival, I guess. Yeah. It's just that innate savage survival mode deep down in us because we're animals. Yeah, I suppose it turns us more into ignorant packaged consumers that the man wants us to be, the system of money and the fact that people do turn a blind eye to it. But then again, when I say I think killing animals isn't necessarily wrong, it's how they're killed. I think a lot of people just choose to pay no mind, and that probably reinforces them to push down other thoughts about other things. So it's like, snaking its own tail. It's like trying to break an addiction as well. It's like, as much as you know it might be bad for you, or it's ruining your life, or pushing people away, and you know that, and it's making you sick, you still can really want it. You're going to catch people up who do eat meat who go, no, a life's more important than my taste. Do I think? No, I think I want to say sentient life's obviously more important than taste, but the fact if I go out and buy a burger, then that's being a big hypocrite, because I'm eating a dead sentient creature because of my taste. And how does that make me feel? Or
well, so that's exactly the right point. So how do you reconcile that? I've taken me buying this is taking animals. Reconcile it within yourself.
Yeah.
Justify, similar.
Like I say, if there's an element of just fuck it, it's the way the world is. This isn't going to make much of a difference. And usually when I do eat meat, it's because I'm drunk. And when you're drunk, you don't care, and you just, So I think if you start thinking about this, about everything, I think everything in moderation. Like, I try and eat less meat now, and I have trying 1 or 2 meat days rather than all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you start looking at everything, just everything you do, if you analyze everything, you could say everything is evil. Where do you draw the line? Everything is fucked up. I've got loads of plastic at home. I'm wasting electricity. I'm buying this and that. You can literally look at anything and say, they're probably meat-free shoes, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
But, but would you buy second-hand?
No.
If it's not going into the industry?
I wouldn't.
So that animal's skin is going to waste?
I don't view it that way. So that's the question's done, but we'll it's
really interesting. I'd like to do all the categories.
Just a couple of things you've said that have been really interesting. So, first of all, I think leather shoes. So, when I've been vegan for 6 years-ish, thereabouts, and I asked myself, I'll tell you why I went vegan in a second if you want to know, but when I first did it, I was like, this is really interesting. So I'm learning about this whole new topic that I never knew about before. And I started asking myself all those awkward questions, like more about the grey areas, so not about the ones we eat.
Facing the demons.
Yeah, just things like, wanted to know about the greyer areas, like, should we go to zoos? What about going to the circus? What's wrong with second-hand leather? Things that some vegans will say, yeah, I'm happy with doing that sort of thing. And other vegans will say, no, I'm not happy with that sort of thing. So if there are discussions which vegans will have amongst each other and disagree on a lot of the time, even. So I
boil down fundamental truths of why and what.
So I find those really, really interesting as conversations. So when it comes to leather, for example, second-hand, when I first went vegan, I had already leather shoes. When I first went vegan, I was like, well, I've already got them. It's not going to make any difference if I'll carry on wearing them because, I'm not continuing to support it anymore. I've already got them. Then it's like, well, what about if they were second-hand? And my personal view is that it's like fake fur. It's like, would I wear fake fur because it's not real fur? It's not coming from a real animal. And no, I wouldn't. And
why not?
It's not
because is it because you think some people might look at you and think it's real, and then that you're standing up for real animal fur?
It's to a certain point. You're basically saying that it's okay to have on second-hand stuff, for example, rather than fake. It's ever so slightly different. This is nuances, but on fake on second-hand leather or leather coats and things like that, it's like, well, you're basically saying it's okay. It's not. Let's normalise the wearing of these animals which didn't want to be killed. And I
think it's because the quality of and the warmth and strength of the leather goes back so far back before we had all the prosthetic fake stuff.
But
And you can say a lot of the plastic stuff is all fucking up the planet as well.
Yeah. I mean,
environmentally,
that's a whole different conversation almost. I mean, I am definitely not vegan for... You obviously guessed that bit. I'm vegan. So I'm not vegan for the environment. I'm also not vegan for health. They are benefits. You know, it's you know, I'm not super environmental. You know, I do try and recycle. I try and be responsible with the stuff I've got, things like that. But I could avoid a lot of the things that I have if I wanted to go, I'm not buying access in plastic sort of thing. But I don't do that sort of thing. I'm not, the environment is something I care about, but it's not the focus of my attention. I care more about what we're doing, and it's a commodification of animals. It's saying that, you know, if I had 100 vegans all walking down here in second-hand leather, where all of us are saying, hey, look, we're all wearing animal skins. And I think the whole idea of just wearing a bit of animal that was a live living being.
You know what you mean? Like, I've thought about this myself, because I went out of a girl once who, this goth girl in London, in Camden, and she was like, I'm thinking of buying this animal fur scarf that was like bed fox or something. And I was straight away, my instant thing was, that's disgusting. Like, some poor animal's been fucking murdered and skinned and or whatever, so you can wear that. But then she was like, but it's secondhand. Like, I'm not paying into the industry. It already exists. And so that made me think. And I thought, actually,
grim though, isn't it?
would I wear a fur coat? One part of me be going, I'm wearing murder. Animals were killed and tortured for me to look cool and feel nice. But I would not, but I'm against that. But when it's secondhand, I don't give if anyone wants to look at me and think what they would think, that's their fucking problem. I'm gonna love and respect this fur coat and this animal and this fur because it's in the world. I don't want it to happen again.
Yeah.
So in a way, there's almost I know this is evil, but I'm wearing it ironically, only if it's secondhand. You're not paying into an industry to make people think, to make them, to show them, look at the world that you live in. Yeah. Look, you know, like.
But then somebody who wouldn't know you would go like, oh.
See, that's caring about what other people think all the time.
Yeah, but it's saying
justify to them it's okay to
wear those.
So they might buy a brand new one.
Yes. Yeah. All I was to say to you is that because you've thought about these things, just think about it that little bit more. It's so easy once you know to take that step. On that card I gave you, I've got that Land of Hope and Glory. Yes, it's a hard watch. No, you don't want to watch it. You've seen a lot of it before, but maybe you need to make that final connection again. On the first one on there, it's called Challenge 22. It's like, well, how do I do it and make sure I can get it cheaply? How, where am I going to get my recipes from? What about the nutrients if you're not great on the nutrients? So it's a completely free resource where you've got dietitian, mentors, loads of people all helping you, completely free of charge. It's Facebook-based predominantly, but you can do it on WhatsApp or email. Yeah. They will give you all the support you need. It's got my contacts on there, so you can contact me again if you want to and just say, look, I've given it a bit more thought. I want to do it, but I do this. This is where I struggle with, I struggle on the money side of it. How do I do this cheaply? Or I don't have the time to cook. What's some really quick, super quick meals I can make? Meat when you're not money is
satisfying craving that animal brain.
So I make my own now. Salt. I make my own bean burgers. I do eat stuff, but you just buy it's gluten flour. I do a thing called quick lazy seitan because I'm lazy. So the proper way of making fake meat is called seitan. The proper way of making it takes hours. Some can take a couple of days to make this proper gluten.
Yeah.
I make my own in about for me going. I want to eat it. I need to make it first though. To actually eating it could take me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I get this chewy texture. I do a beef flavoured one. I do a chicken flavoured one. So I'm not vegan because I don't like the flavour. I like the flavour.
I will think about it and check your card out, make more of an effort, maybe watch that video.
Yeah.
But
just make the conscious choices when you're buying stuff in the supermarket. Just go.
If I was a millionaire, I'm
paused.
No meat at all. Let's get the best vegan food made for me all the time.
Yeah, of course. And but I'm as poor as poor could be.
Iceland, look how cheap it is, and 90% of it's meat.
Yeah, I don't tend to. Like I said, I try to bulk cook. That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
bulk
freeze it
cook,
in packages.
but bulk lazy cook.
Yeah.
So chuck it all in this. Yeah, I've got some amazing recipes. If you reach out, if you want to do it and you're serious about it, you can reach out to me, send me an email, something like that, or comment on my channel or something like that, and we'll support you.
Right.
Really good to talk to you. Okay, thanks very much.
Bye.
Okay, bye bye.